So for my project, I did John Updike. So first is going to be a little bit about him and his biography. So he grew up in solitude on a farm in Pennsylvania, and him and his dad used to have to walk to work, and he had to walk to school, and it was like a far walk because they were on a farm, like really far away from everybody and far away from the middle of the town. He was known for his subtle depictions of the American life. He wrote series stories such as The Rabbit, which was one of his most famous. He was an only child and he shared a house with his grandparents. He received a full scholarship to Harvard, and his first job was when he worked as a writer at The New Yorker. So next is going to be some of his most famous stories, and on the right is pictured of Rabbit Run, which was one of his novels, which is one of the famous ones, like from the series stories that I talked about before. And on the left is a picture of A&P, which was the name of one of his most famous short stories. So some other famous titles are The Happiest I've Been, Separating, A&P, A Sandstone Farmhouse, Problems, and Here Come the Maples. And Separating and Here Come the Maples were based on events from his life, such as his first marriage and his divorce. A&P, like I said before, he had the picture of the little supermarket, and it was based on that. And then some of these stories are full novels, and other ones are just short stories. So he was a man of many talents. So next is going to be an overview of his style. So some of the notable features were his emphasis on memories from his childhood or his life in general. Like I said, he liked to write a lot about his divorces and his marriages. He also focused on diction and his use of rich descriptions. He liked to use a lot of imagery and strong words and stuff like that. He liked to make ordinary objects, tasks, or people seem important and unique. Like, for example, in A&P, he based his main character off of, he based the characterization of him off of metaphors of, simple, everyday, boring items. Like, one example was the non-name brand crackers that he based it off of, and he said that that was the way he kind of described him, was the off-brand, generic, kind of run-of-the-mill, ordinary crackers, and that was one of the ways that he would make the ordinary objects, the ordinary food, seem really important and unique. So some examples are The Center, which is based on childhood experiences from going to school and his relationships with his parents. That was one of the examples of how he used memories and stuff from his childhood. Separating, like I said before, is based on his first marriage. And Here Come the Maples, which is based on his divorce. And here pictured are two of his wives. Now, for my emulation story, I focused a lot on using the rich descriptions and making ordinary objects or people seem important or unique. I wrote about Eric, the cashier from Wegmans, and I made a lot of different descriptions, and I wrote a lot about how basic food items, and I wrote about them and described them in really ridiculously detailed ways. And that was my kind of take on how I could turn Updike's work into my own. I remember part of it I wrote about the way that there was a spill on one of the aisles, and I described that in great detail. And normally that would just be something really plain and stupid, oh no, there was a spill on this aisle. But the way I worded it, at first you might not know that it was a spill because the way that it was worded, or the powder that I used to clean up, you could I made different metaphors as it would be something else. So some of the common themes that he also included in his stories were sex, life of a middle-class American, and just kind of America in general. Like I said before, he depicted America's, the life of an American really well in a lot of his stories. Religion and death. And that's it.